So, Materialism by Karl Marx. I will explain this historical materialism, this line that historical materialism designates the view of the course of history which fix the ultimate causes and the great moving power of all important historic events in the economic development of society, in the changes in the modes of production and exchange, with the consequent division of society into distinct classes and the struggles of these classes. I will explain this in a simple sentence at last. So, what is materialism? Philosophers were moving to solve the problem, but Karl Marx was to change the society completely. He wanted to change the society completely. Historic and materialism are two different things and merged by Karl Marx. Just take these two words in different way and he merged these two sentences, these two words. So materialism means surrounding material influencing someone. Materialism means surrounding material influencing someone. In very simple sentence I will tell you, in very simple meaning, such as Indians can ask for fundamental rights in India but they can't ask for it in China because the material around China is different from the material around India. Okay, such as let us suppose one more scenario. In India, a mother while giving birth in pregnancy time, the first priority is to save the life of the mother, but in some country the mother's life is secondary. First save the life of the child. Okay, so the material depends upon the surrounding. So here Indian materialism is different, other country materialism is different. In 18th century, two things were more in controversial: idealism and materialism. Idealism were telling that idea came first and then society, but materialists were telling that the first society came, then people live together and generate ideas later. And idealism was by Hegel. Hegel was one of the colleague or friend of Karl Marx. Karl Marx took so many ideas, so many concepts, he used so many contexts of the Hegel, but most of the context he used, it was from the economical background. Idealism was by Hegel, okay, and materialism by Karl Marx. If we have any kind of development in society, then there must be a talk of mode of production. He was telling that if we came to know that about the reason of problem, then we can predict the future. He was talking about the welfare society through scientific mean as well. Okay, so he was like, he want to understand the reason of the historic events so that he will predict the history. So let us suppose you are getting a series of number, that is 5, 10, 15, 20, and now if I will ask you what will be the next number, you will directly tell that 25 will be the next number. How? Because you have gone through historic events. This is the history. You have understand the event into understanding the pattern, in which pattern it is following, and after studying this pattern, that it has a gap of 555, so the next number will be 25. So in the same manner, he wanted to understand the history. He want to generalize, he want to know the series of the historical events or the evolution of the society, so that he will predict the future, and if the future is not good, if the future is worse, so he will so he can manipulate it, so the member of the society can manipulate and save their future from becoming worst. Okay, so similarly, Marx was born in a capitalist society and he wanted to know the history of earlier class and wanted to understand that pattern so that he will find the next future society. As before capitalist, there was feudal, and even before the slave society were there, and even before the slave society, we will call it as a primitive society. We will study it in stratification, social stratification. So he wrote about historic materialism in his famous book called Contribution to the Critique of Political Economy. Historic materialism was mentioned in his book Contribution to the Critique of Political Economy. So evolution of society, how society evolved. Primitive communism, no class was there. Class comes when there is exploitation of people. After this primitive, they moved towards the ancient model where they were making tools. Slavery system then just started after the ancient society. After this ancient society, feudalism will emerge where they start capturing land. After this, capitalist society emerges and factory emerges. Again exploitation of people will start. Workers were making the product but unable to buy that product. Like in car factory, if some worker is working, he's making that car, he's manufacturing that car, but he does not have that ability to buy that car. So he wanted to that the money should be in that manner, the production should be in that manner, the person who is producing it should be able to buy his produced item as per his choice, and so that equality will be there and poverty will not be there in the world. So I will explain materialism with two perspectives, because Karl Marx took the materialism from Hegel. Hegel was the one. He was influenced by the Hegel, and he put his modification and he put his termed. After studying the Hegel, he modified. So what we will study, what Hegel had told about materialism. So Hegel talked about idealism. Here it is talking about materialism. Hegel talked about idealism. Idealism is the idea which ultimately matters. That is, idealism is the idea which ultimately matters. Idea lies in the base or the substructure. According to him, on the base, if there is a triangle, so the base will be idealism. On that, structure will form, superstructure will form. Okay, ideas are very important and it shapes everything because it is at base. Because idea is the base, and it will decide other institutions which will build over it. So what is matter? Matter is the reflection of idea. But Marx was not agreeing with it. He said that matter is the most important thing. Matter exists long back, then idea came. Matter always existed first, then we came later. Idea is the reflection of matter, not matter is the reflection of idea. As per Karl Marx, so he was just opposite in this, that matter existed long back, then idea came. Without matter, how idea will come? For generating idea, like if you want to create something, there must be a resource should be present, so that your idea will work on that resource. So matter exists long back, then idea came. Matter always existed, we came later. And he told just opposite. He said matter is a reflection of, Hegel said matter is a reflection of idea, but as per Karl Marx, idea is the reflection of matter. Okay, when we enter into production, we'll ultimately move towards the relationship. So what will be the production? Production is another topic. So this was the overview of materialism by Marx, where Marx was highly in-depth to the French school of materialism. For him, matter is the ultimate reality, not the idea. For him, matter is the ultimate reality and not the idea. Idea is the reflection of matter. As I have said, Marx has observed that Hegel's dialectics was standing on its head and I have put it on its feet. So it was like he was observed that Hegel dialectics, whatever he was telling, he has generated the meaning of the Hegel's word. He analyzes the Hegel's word. So society, polity, economy are in the superstructure and the matter is at base. As per him, society, polity and economy are in this superstructure. Material or the economic forces are in this substructure and the idea is part of the superstructure. Idea is that reflection of material forces, that material or the economic forces are in the substructure and the idea is a part of the superstructure. Ideas is the reflection of material forces and the base or the substructure consists of the force of production and the relation of production. Now here he is talking about that idea is how changing, how emerging, the forces he is talking about, and that force is nothing but technology. That the base or the substructure consists of the forces of production and the product and the relations of production. And what kind of forces he is talking about here? He is talking about the force of technology. That technology is coming, technology emerging. So when there is a change in the force of production, there are corresponding changes in the relation of production. That whenever the change in the technology, there will be corresponding change in the relation of production. Like suppose when there is a forces of production, there are corresponding changes in the production. Thus mode of production will change. What does it is try to mean? Like whenever there is a change in technology of production, like there is some new technology is getting emerged in a production, like computerization is coming, robot will be there. So in the similarly the corresponding changes will be the relation of production, like what kind of product is coming, that will also change. What are the relationship with the product that was coming. Like earlier the workers were involved in the producing a particular product, but as soon as that new technology came, the workers get divided. Now the relationship of the worker with that product will get changed. He will work in the particular part of the production, not will completely involved with the production because of automation, because of coming of new technology. So thus mode of production will change as the forces of production will change. It brings a corresponding change in the superstructure. Ultimately it will bring a corresponding change in the superstructure. So society, polity, religion, moral values, norms shaped by the mode of production. So this was the overview, this was the concept of materialism by Karl Marx, where he put up the ideas of Hegel as idealism, where he told like idealism which ultimately matters, and it was the base, but Karl Marx was completely opposite, and he said like matter is the at the base and idea is the reflection of matter. Thank you.